Excuse me, do you speak English?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna say that I was walking and I looked at you and I said, maybe I have to talk with this girl because I really love her style. Maybe it's gonna be boring, you know? You never know when you are gonna have a bad conversation, but you have to try anyway. Some people is rude, some people is interesting. You just have to try. Smile to the world. The world maybe is gonna smile you back sometimes. Like you. Have a nice, what's her name?
Anna.
Anna.
Yeah.
Well, the first thing we can talk about is always the opener, of course, and I always like to be direct and to tell the truth from the beginning, to say that the hairstyle catch my attention and justify with that my approach. The direct style has a great advantage, and is that from the beginning you are making her understand that you are attracted to her. Since you tell her this since the beginning, it is clear that you are not going to be friends, okay? But we got so many tricks to clarify that later. Anyway, and this help you avoiding many hate edges, you know, and it's especially useful for those who find it difficult to avoid falling into the friend zone. And the disadvantage is that you are more exposed to rejection, but believe me, when you have practiced enough, you will know that the rejection is part of success and learning. So there is no reason to be afraid of it. We will also talk about that later. I would also like to mention that I said some people is friendly, some people is not, but you have to try because you never know who you can meet. Smile at the world and the world is gonna smile you back sooner or later, like you are doing. This is good to say because you give more justification to your approach, and you also make her understand that you talk to people in your day-to-day, but here it is important to clarify that you should imply that you talk to everyone, not only women, because then she could confirm that you do it with all women and you are just a sexual hunter, you know? Also here I made a mistake, and it was not letting her speak first before saying this. The correct thing would have been after the opener had introduced myself to tell her my name, asking her a couple of classic questions, and then I can talk about this again. When I show you, I didn't know whether to approach you, but I think it's good to be always open to meet new people who can be interesting. Smile at the wall, because in the end the wall is gonna smile you back, and blah blah blah. At the beginning of all interaction, the conversation is an 80-20, and it's the 80% for you and it's the 20% for her. This means that you have to talk almost all the time, but it is important to put pauses, okay, to let her talk, because if you are the only one who talk, she could end up feeling like she's only listening but she doesn't speak, and that would make her feel uncomfortable, of course.
Like double N.
Yeah, with double N.
Yeah, we got it with one N in Spanish. In Spanish.
Oh, you're from Spain.
Yeah. You didn't know?
Yo hablo un poquito español. Pero...
You can try, puedes intentarlo. Encantado. Yo soy Javier.
Javier, encantada también.
Encantado.
Pues yo estudié en una escuela bilingüe, colegio bilingüe, pero se me ha olvidado mucho porque no lo practico.
If you don't practice a language, you just forget it. Yeah, that's the bad point. Yeah.
Especialmente el vocabulario, también gramática.
Remember the two most important keys at the beginning of every interaction: humor and avoid silences by keeping the 80-20%. In order to avoid silences, it is sometimes convenient for you to bring some homework done from home, okay? This means that you can think a lot of questions to have always something to say. In the first minutes, try to think about classic questions. It is not advisable that you try to stand out too much in the first moments, but you can always give your words a special character. For example, instead of saying, "Where are you from?" you can say, "Where do you come from, miss?" Okay? Even if you talk about normal things, you can express yourself in a special way, and that also make you stand out all the time. Well, what I do here is that I let her know about what country I come from, and she shows interest in Spain. Great, we already have something to talk about, and trying to speak other languages with a bad accent always generates humor.
Do you travel around South America?
Últimamente no he viajado mucho.
No time, just working.
Yeah, working and study.
But you live here?
Yeah, I'm not from here, but I live here right now.
So where are you from, in Poland?
I'm from Suwałki. It's in northeast of Poland. It's like very close to border with Lithuania.
Ah, okay.
Like
So-
40 kilometers to border with Lithuania.
Here, as you see, I link the talk with what she said about that she studied Spanish to ask her if she has traveled around Latin countries to practice it, since I have also done it, and it could be something else in common to talk about. Also know that when calibrating the situation, after I have seen that she's not so shy after all, and since at the beginning the only one who spoke was me, now I try to put some balance on the situation, asking her questions and letting her talk so that she also invests in the conversation, because the more she invests, the more she feels that she's happy talking to me.
So maybe you look like more Lithuanian, maybe? I can see small differences between you. Well, actually, it's my second day in Poland. You know, I don't really too much time here, but I can see that they are more blonde than you, probably.
Oh, maybe.
Kind of. I don't know. Blue eyes. You got green.
Green, yeah.
Nice eyes. Everyone has a green or blue. I mean, it's very common here. So
Maybe.
it's kind of attractive here to have a brown eyes or something.
Well, I always like to do this. Normally, I dare to make predictions about people, to tell them my opinion about what they seem, how they seem. But here the truth is that I made it more perfect than I usually do. Normally, I'm very aggressive with my predictions, and some people do not take it well, you know. But in this case, I said, maybe that's why you don't look like Polish. And I also said this my second day, justifying that I really have no idea on the appearance of Polish girls. Here I use the common features to add myself value, okay? By saying green and blue eyes are very common here, so brown eyes are quite attractive, right? Pointing my eyes to imply that I'm talking about me and generating humor with that.
So
It's not very, common here. You have brown eyes.
So what is your plan today? I'm just following my friends. Yeah, he just wanted an ice cream. Whatever. His friends and he goes, hey, hello. And there's an Argentinian guy over there. as well.
So it's a multinational team, yeah?
No, not really. I just meet up with these guys here because they were here, and I just came because I love these guys. You know, they are really nice, good friends. I just spent 4 months in Mexico with them this year. We had so much fun, so we just wanted to meet up again. Yeah, for sure. So, your plan?
My plan for today?
Shopping.
Yes, shopping, and then I think I will just go back to my flat and maybe a movie or something like this.
Something quiet.
It is always good to ask about the plans she has during the day. If you want to generate an instant date with a person at that moment, you will need to know if she's in a hurry or she has plans for later. You should find out this before proposing anything, and we will always try to avoid direct rejection as far as possible. Here you can also use this to describe your plans for that day, and there are endless options here to add social value, pre-selection, apply mystery. We will talk about this later in a more detailed way.
You don't like going out. I don't like going out.
I like going out, but not very, I don't do this frequently. Yeah?
I just like it when I go with big groups, and I don't like in time to. I mean, when you meet somebody in the night is so different than when you meet it in places like this. It's more natural for me. So in the time to meet new people, I prefer always to be in this kind of natural situations. But yeah, it's better for me than during the night. It's just have fun with your friends and that's all. Yeah, for sure.
It's something that just almost disappeared. It's this form of meeting new people.
Yeah. Another very good thing is to talk about what is happening, okay? You tell her, this is exactly what our grandparents did. Everybody knew each other and they talk on the street like we are doing in the past. It's really sad that people don't communicate on this way anymore because of the new technologies. That's why I always try to meet new people in my day-to-day on this way. It's much more natural than if I met you in a nightclub. And this is a good phrase, okay? Every woman will always prefer to meet a boy on the day-to-day scenario than in the disco club. And well, at that time the camera ran out of battery, so the rest was not recorded. The fact is that we went to have a drink and we talked a little more. Since the beginning I realized that she was a little formal, quite normal, and she didn't seem crazy or adventurous girl, and I confirmed it afterwards as we talked. This doesn't fit with what I like to find in a girl. So as I realized that we were not going to have much in common, I led the conversations to be friends. In the end, what I did was to include her in a plan that I made with more people, and where in the end I ended up kissing another girl that I like more. But when I brought her, she could also meet my friends, and that gave me an image of a social person, okay? Since I met her on the street and I brought her to meet my friends. What I say with this is that you should never underestimate how useful it can be to meet another person, because if it doesn't attract you, it can always help you sub-communicating pre-selection or social value, or both of them.